The Canyon School District bond is facing some opposition from community members. Wendy Davis is here with the other side of the debate this morning. Wendy, great to have you with us. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Glenn.
So you're a concerned citizen. You live within the boundaries of the Canyon School District. Talk to us about how your opposition started and how it developed.
Sure, absolutely. Well, just so you know, I've supported bonds in the past. I supported the breakup of the district from the Jordan School District when that happened and supported the 2010 bond. And this bond surprised me just a little bit that it was announced so late, and then there became this big mailing campaign. So a couple of weeks ago, I received a flyer in my mailbox, and I noticed that there was, a group out there that was pro-bond, which led me to start peering into what was going on with that, what was the messaging behind that, and that's really when it started to unpack itself for me.
How so?
Well, it was curious to me that there wasn't a lot of public comment about the bond. I remember the last bond that the superintendent and board members had held public comment, town hall meetings, given the comment a lot of time for public feedback. This one was announced in August and is going to ballot in November. Why? Why in an off-cycle election when we know that there's traditionally really low voter turnout, not even a midterm election, not even a presidential election?
In your mind, though, does that necessarily benefit passing a bond of lower voter turnout?
It could. It's hard to tell. And after last election, I'm very hesitant to predict what any polls or numbers say.
Sure.
The initial polling number
showed,
a good call. Right. The initial polling number said it was about 50% pro and con, plus or minus the margin of error there. So it's really hard to say if the low voter turnout will help the bond or hurt the bond. It's really impossible to tell.
You filed a complaint with the Lieutenant Governor's office. What was that all about?
I did. I actually filed two complaints. My first one was with the Friends of the Canyons School District bond, because I was really curious to how they were funded, and I asked if they were a nonprofit. They had said on Facebook they were not a nonprofit. I looked and could not see that they were registered as a PIC. So I brought that to the attention of the Lieutenant Governor's office. There are election laws. If you spend so much money, you have to file, you have to reveal those finances. When it was found that they weren't in compliance, they were asked to register with the Lieutenant Governor's office, and they have since done that. However, since there were some filing deadlines that were missed, it's still not clear with respect to transparency who's funding these mailers, these yard signs, these billboards, who's doing that. And I think there are some questions there that need to be answered. The second complaint that I filed was actually against the school district, which is really hard for me because I've been actively involved in the school district. I have been an active parent in PTA. I've been a volunteer with different committees on the school district. But when the language of the pro-bond, what I'm calling pro-bond material, the mailers that went out from the district, presumably with public money, was very clear in my mind, pro-bond, that's a violation of election law.
Because they didn't include pros and cons.
That is correct.
Right.
And they have a wide latitude to do what they would like as far as informing the public, and I totally get that. There are 4 issues on my ballot: mayor, 2 races for city council, and the bond. When you say vote November 7th to continue the excellence in our school district, there's only one thing that you can vote for on that ballot that will do that. That was my issue with it, is the unfair appropriation of real estate.
And as we mentioned in the last block, when we got the district's response to that, the Lieutenant Governor's office has forwarded that on to the county attorney, so we'll see where that goes.
That's right.
They are pretty low-level misdemeanors, if anything. But I really want to get your point on also. You say the district can make do with what it already has. Talk about that.
One thing, it is a low-level misdemeanor. However, I think the transparency is really important to know, and so that's the bigger issue. It's not about whether they get a fine or not. It's is this overall transparent? So, right, I do make a contention, not that you can do without all the bond money, right? Again, I voted for the last bond, $250 million. This is a $285 million bond initiative. That would be $500 million since 2010. That is a lot of money. And without a doubt, some of our facilities have been restored, renovated, rebuilt, and they are beautiful. I'm not against public funding for education. I'm a product of the public school system. All my children went to Canyon School District. I have 6 grandchildren who I anticipate will be in public school.
I only have about 30 seconds left.
This is about making sure that we are responsibly using that money. And I would contend that we don't need $285 million. There needs to be more public comment on that.
Okay. Very interesting perspective, and we will see how this ends up. We'll find out in just a couple of weeks. So thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet.